Hey everyone, Jamie here from Upload. Now today we're taking a look at Vertigo Remastered, which is releasing this week on PC VR. As that name suggests, it is a remaster of Vertigo from Zulubo Productions, which released back in 2016. Now usually on our Versus series we take a look at the graphics between two different versions of games appearing on different headsets, and while there are definitely changes to the visuals here, we're also talking about the content in this because it's actually more of a retooled expansion of the original game more than it is actually a remaster. So there's actually new content like you're seeing here. We're going to start first off with this intro cutscene in the remastered version. The developer Zach has gone back and added quite a lot of new features, especially to the start of the game, including this sequence that you see here with a new avatar for your player. And some lovely new mountain scenery. If you played the original Vertigo, you know that the first game starts directly inside this cabin. We don't get this outside environment. Just an example of some of the new environments that Zulubo is putting into the game. Very interesting to see, I think, especially considering we know the game is integrating some of the systems that Zulubo has been working on for Vertigo 2, which is coming out in the future. So yeah, can come into this cabin.
But there's clearly something going on.
Like I said, the cabin is actually where the original game starts. There's our avatar. Get to explore this area now. In the original game, you were kind of fixed in position, didn't get to walk around this little environment. And it starts at nighttime, as we'll see in a second. So light that up, and we slowly transition to what will be the start of the other game as well. So we're going to go back to the side-by-side view here. So not a huge amount of differences to talk about here. Obviously you can see a fair bit nicer lighting in the remastered version. The point of the scene is to look out and see this kind of impending portal-like apocalypse coming your way. Looks a little nicer, definitely, in the remastered version there. A little simpler, a little more basic over in the original version, which released, end of 2016 on Steam VR. Now, again, we're gonna take a look at some of the big differences here. We're going to move into a cutscene on the right in the remastered version, which is why we're a little bit behind on the left right now, because everything you're seeing in the right now doesn't happen in the original version of the game. It's all new content. A little cutscene here, which I guess is maybe hinting towards more stuff we'll see in Vertigo 2. Bit of a shame actually to lose that really nice effect it's got there going in the remastered version, but this cutscene's really kind of cool and Twilight Zoney. So once he takes off, we'll be moving into the first area in Plank Industries. Paused on the left side right now just so we can play catch up. So what you'll see here immediately is that the two environments you turn up in are dramatically different from the start. Over in the original game, much darker environment, a couple of what do you call them, like text documents, I guess, to read to get some of the first drips and drops of story. Over in the remastered side, much nicer visual work going on here. And we're gonna get the teleportation device as well, but it's gonna be a little more different. Picking that one up, so I'll just leave it there for a sec.
Okay, recording. Space-time manipulator devlog 233. The date is October 18th, 2015. They moved evac to next week, so I've had to accelerate testing. I've been refining the exotic fields of the bulb, though, and the simulations say it's stable enough for human trials. Should be perfectly safe, so long as I don't teleport into a wall or something. Still reliant on the reactor's quantum juice, so the more of that I can get my hands on, the better. Alright, here goes nothing. Ah! Oh my god! Ah!
Oh dear, poor Brian. That is quite unfortunate. Anyway, what lovely extra content. So yeah, we teleport out of here. We're gonna start catching up to where we get to in Vertigo now. So we're just playing there. We skipped out a bit there. There's another little cutscene, but just in the interest of time, wanting to get to some of the more key differences. So here, this is the first area in the game. You're just starting to learn some of the mechanics, avoiding some of these battle drones you can see here. I'm taking the wrong direction on the left, but we're gonna cut over. Yeah, there you go. So this is the room where we get our trusty electric lightning rod thingy. You can see quite how different they are straight away. Over in the remastered version, suddenly get a bunch of battle drones coming in to help us test our metal. Whereas in the original version, yes, one nice swipe to make them explode. Controlling is actually very different as well. I should talk about here in the remastered version. There's a bit more of kind of like a physics-driven heft to using it. It's not like one-to-one like it is in the original game, and you have to really like kind of factor that in as you're swinging about. A little like Boneworks. It doesn't quite feel like Boneworks, but it is more of that in that kind of vein. So we'll cut again in a second on the remastered, but in both of them, in fact. You actually have to take different routes through to get to the next section in the next game, but I didn't know that yet, so I'm exploring on the remastered side right now. But we'll move forward to another interesting looking thing. This is also new in the remastered version. This is the orange goo that you collect for your upgrade tree. There's no upgrade tree in the original, so you can upgrade like your teleporter, your weapon, walking speed, stuff like that. Gives it a bit more depth.
Wise man once said that you must suffer in pursuit of science.
So, moving on through these doors, we come to this area, which is... It's kind of odd, because this is the same room. Obviously, the lighting's a little more forgiving in the remastered version. I do kind of miss that monster on the side. I wonder why Zulubo Productions got rid of him. Teleport into a similar kind of elevator shaft navigation bit. There's my technical terms there. Again, we're out of sync a bit here, but it's going to veer off massively on the remastered side again in a second. So there's going to be this whole kind of vent traversal bit there with some kind of light platforming elements. No, I shouldn't say light, I should say fiery platforming elements, I guess. Much darker in the original version again. Doesn't have the kind of fire navigating bit, but we'll cut again in a second to catch back up, but just to show you a bit of the difference here. Also, thankfully, the lightning rod doesn't make that annoying sparking sound every time it touches something in the new version of the game, which was really annoying in the first one. So coming out here, we should cut on the other version in a second. Yeah, so now we're both in the same circular room. That's led to the same place. We're going to go break this glass over here. So that's kind of the opening section. We're going to skip forward a fair bit now to, I think, the game's second or third level and the first boss fight, which is largely the same, just takes place in a bit of a different area. Looks a little different, but the mechanics are pretty much the same. There's actually, we're not going to show it here, but there's actually an extra bit on the end of the remastered version of this boss fight. But it's just interesting to see definitely the changes that the developers put in here. I think you know, getting towards the end of this video, you can now kind of see what I mean. Remastered is a funny way to sell this game because, yeah, there are improved visuals, but at the same time, it's really about the changes in content and making it more of a solid playing experience. That's what's really different here. So it's almost like it should be called Vertigo Retooled or something like that. Anyway, here's this horrid snake Hydra boss thing. Really, really hard in both versions of the game. First of all, you have to kind of swipe away his tentacles using your rod. And then also in kind of Star Wars fashion, block his attacks. Plays out the same way, like I said, at the end of the boss fight. I won't show you, but there's an extra bit to it in the remastered version. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notifications button if you like what you see. And we'll see you next time.